Yes. Just waiting for everyone to join in right now. Just waiting for everyone to join in so we can have a live stream going. Welcome, 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 welcome. Yes, just waiting for everyone to join in right now, but I can see I've got one person. Just send a message out there and just say hello. Just send a message out there and say hello. Yes, I'll just wait for a couple of more people, but this is just supposed to be just like a chat. We'll talk about aquariums. We'll talk about what to do. If you got any questions, I'll answer your questions as well. We were supposed to have a guest come on, but unfortunately, the guest won't be joining us. Yes, two people out there. Yes, there's more coming in. There's more coming in. I'll just rumble on about aquariums as we're waiting for everyone to kind of jump on at the present moment. I can see people are joining in a little bit late, but such is it. Such is it. Such is it. I'll do a little bit of an intro by myself. Yes, it's the Cichlid Whisperer. I've kept cichlids for oh a long time. For a long time. For a long time, to be fair. But it's not just cichlids I keep. As you can see, I've also got on which side? This is that side really. I've got two beta tanks on there. One plant. They're both planted because I can't really keep. Hey, Danny, how are you? Thank you, thank you, thank you, Danny. Thank you. So yeah, I'm the Cichlid Whisperer, and I'm passionate, quite passionate about aquariums. I am quite passionate about. Yes, DP Cichlids, yo, banging on time. That's my man right there. So I'm just giving a little bit of a bio of myself to most people who don't really know much about me. I started keeping cichlids, I'd say about 5, 6 years ago. After having several tanks, I've kept betas, I've kept silver dollars, I've kept, I've kept tropical tanks to be more honest. What really made me move to African cichlids was the color. Well, and I wanted to go marine, but marine is quite expensive. That's salt water. It's quite an expensive hobby to take. So I ended up just having to research a bit more and I went into cichlids. So that's how I ended up starting on cichlids. So it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride. When I first started, yes, 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 Mr. Dan. Marine is too much chemistry. I know. It was just too much for me to just try and get, and the mere fact that with tropical everything seems, I can't say easy, but it's definitely easier than marine. So when I first started with cichlids, it was a bit of a challenge because everyone kept on telling me to say cichlids are more specialists and the aggression, that's the number one thing that you get told when you start with cichlids. So I was told that cichlids are aggressive, they're super aggressive, and you can't really keep anything else in the tank apart from just cichlids. Yeah. So that kind of put me off a bit. But then I had a 3 foot. So I figured let me just get started. Let me just get the little small booners and let me get started. But when soon as I got the booners, I saw the colors from the peacocks and I couldn't resist. So I got a couple of peacocks. Um Over time, then I ended up getting hubs. So me saying this now kind of gives you an idea to the people that know my tank. It's got all three species of Lake Malawi in there. So it's got harps, peacocks, and booners. which is quite challenging because each species has got its own needs, should I say. Each species has got its own needs. So that's how I really got into African cichlids. But bearing in mind, I've also had other tanks, and I still do have the two small tanks behind me that I experiment on. In terms of fish, I experiment with the two tanks behind me. I've also got a couple of tanks that I manage, but these are not mine. These are clients' tanks that I do manage. So the knowledge is quite vast, to be honest. The knowledge is quite vast. And on top of my knowledge, I'm part of a group on TikTok. These lads meet up and we have a bit of a chat. TikTok has got a good fish community. So we have a bit of a chat and we trade stories as well as just talk about if you got any issues, you can just kind of open up to the guys as well. So the fish community on TikTok, if you find the right, because there are some people who are not so nice, but the group that I've managed to befriend are quite helpful. If you got questions, they'll help you, and some of them have actually got bigger and more tanks than I do. They some keep turtles, some keep, what I mean. It's a massive wide range. So yeah, it's not just cichlids. Though the name says Cichlid Whisperer, I do just encompass the whole aquarium kind of hobby as a whole. But it's cichlids that I fell in love with. Okay. So I don't want to keep on rambling on. I don't want to keep on rambling on. But the guys that are in there, if you can just ask any questions and go on. I do have to say something though, and I do apologize about this. I do apologize. Today was supposed to be me and the final tank boss. Uh, I was actually supposed to be on his channel, if I'm honest. But the poor guy just woke up not feeling well, and he had a sore throat, and he kind of lost his voice. But me being a top bloke as such, I then decided to say, I couldn't let anyone down. So I thought, let me just jump on, let me say hi to everyone. And yeah, not that I can do it by myself, but really, I just thought as long as the guys are engaging with me, it shouldn't be hard, really, to be on a live. So please, guys, if you can just ask questions, anything you want me to talk about, I'll answer your questions. Doesn't have to be about cichlids as well. We can talk, we can just have a general chat. So I do apologize that the final tank boss today is not available for us today. We are going to have to reschedule. Having said that, this is not the only live that I'm looking to do. I am looking to do several lives, and these lives, you're looking at least minimum of two per month. So that way, at least we can build up from there, build a bit of a community. Um, Guys on TikTok, the guys on Instagram, as well as the guys on YouTube, we just meet up. So from the next my next live, I'll be broadcasting on all my socials. So everything is going to be live on all socials, just to let everyone know. Okay. So it doesn't matter if you're going to be able to just log on to the YouTube live, or you can log on straight to TikTok, Instagram, Twitch. I'll be logged into all of them at one go. I'm also, just bear with me. Oh yeah, yes, 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 yes. Oh, thank you, Mr. Dan. Thank you, Mr. Dan. Yes, the final tank boss. We're definitely planning on getting together at some point. I've been to his house and I've seen the amazing work that he's done. Um to be honest with you, it was Caveman Aquatics and the final tank boss that really got me into cichlids, because I was watching a lot of videos that they were putting out, and at the time I had a 3 foot and I was looking to get a 6 foot. So the final tank boss, he had a 6 foot tank, you know, and that just kind of resonated with me, really, the way he had his tank and his scape. So that's how I ended up with my 6 foot tank. Though I took a different route to him because he had a sump, but with my tank, how can I put it? I've got more high tech. Excuse me. I've had to end up just adding a bit more extra onto my tank. But he runs a sump as well as an FX6, I should think. But he's got amazing tanks, guys. He's got amazing tanks. What we see on his channel with the final tank pass, what we see on his channel is just a fraction. It's literally a fraction. Uh of what he actually does. When you go into his basement, he's got tanks in his basement, and um and some of them he hasn't even touched. So that means he just lets them do what he does. Then the biggest project, which was his paludarium, and I got to see that live. I got to see that live as well. It's madness. It's madness. Yes, Mr. Dan Caveman is also great. Yeah, yes, yes. So with Caveman, I met Cave at the the aqua show, to be honest, and he was a top bloke. He gave me the time. We sat down for close to about 2 hours. It was either an hour and a half to 2 hours that we actually sat down and had a talk with me. He's quite knowledgeable on cichlids, and I like his progression because he started off with cichlids, then he moved on to planted tanks, then afterwards he then moved on to marine tanks, which is salt water tanks, and he's still he's still going on. I think right now he's just got a breeding project going on where he's at Frantoses. So Caveman is amazing. There are some influencers out there. There are some influencers out there that we all watch, and they've really contributed a lot when it comes to the aquarium hobby. You've also got MD Tanks. Is it MD Aquatics? Yeah, MD Aquatics. I've watched his videos as well. He's only got at the time. I'm not sure if he still got it. He only had one African cichlid tank, but his studio is just got nice, nice aquascapes in his tanks. It's just amazing. Then you've also got fish. Is a fish shop Matt. Yes, he's another one. He's another one that's really really good. So within the UK, in terms of influencers, we've got a good selection. We've got a good selection of influencers that we can also look up to. I was when I was communicating to some of the guys yesterday. I think it was you, Mr. Dania. It's much like in America because cichlids are readily available because they've got the infrastructure to be able to farm them. It makes it so for them. This is why you get so many cichlid influences that come out from that side of the pond, really. But if I am to say here in the UK, it's mostly the final tank boss. It's for mostly the final tank boss who's actually um who's who really started with cichlids. Yes, he's moved on to other things, but he's known mainly for his cichlids, to be fair. I'm not too sure if there's any, but he started off on YouTube, then came to TikTok, whereas I started the other way around. I went to TikTok, then I ended up on now I'm on YouTube. I'm doing the YouTube live now. So yeah, it's in terms of influencers, we've got quite a few in the UK. We've got quite a few in the UK. I mean, it would be great if we could get to do more collabs, as the guys over the pond do, really, because they collab more, they meet up more, they do lives more, and they talk. So at the end of this live, I'm also gonna be able to share with you some recent developments and stuff that I'm actually working on. So hopefully, um, by end of this month, I'll be able to follow through on that. So at the end of this live, I'm really looking forward to sharing something that I've been working on, as well as it just hasn't been released, that I've been working on, and I'm looking to start it out there. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons for having the live today, just to meet everyone, and just have a bit of a chat. Really, nothing. This wasn't a session to teach anyone or a session to talk about a particular topic. I didn't. I wanted to just have this more like it's just a live chat. so people can just send messages through and we can have a bit of a chat. There are going to be lives where I'm really going to be having some people come through. Doesn't necessarily be you have to be influencers. It's just the average man who's got a tank and they're passionate about their hobby. I'll have them on here and we can have a bit of a chat as well. They can talk about their tanks, highlight their tanks. There was a guy on YouTube, I think his name was Matt M something, and he used to visit around the UK and just visit people's houses and showcase people's tanks. So this is more what the platform really, um this now I think is since kind of stopped, but this is with the Cichlid Whisperer, this is the direction that I'm more going on to now. So as far as you're going to be going to shows, fish shows, not the big ones, small ones, fish. You know what I mean? They do raffles. I've got to know a lot of communities out there, little patches of communities out there, and I would just want to showcase. I want to showcase what the aquarium hobby just brings. It's not just I don't want people to feel like they're lonely out here. They're lonely and with them, and they just their fish tank, and they're in their la la land by themselves. No, honestly, you're not alone. A lot of people out here have got aquariums, and there's great communities out there. Um, they will tell you where to buy fish. They'll give you great advice and all sorts. So yeah, that's the purpose of the live today, just to have a bit of a chat, really. So yeah, if you got more questions, please guys, just fire them on. Just fire them on. I don't want to seem to see if I'm rumbling. Others are just going about cichlids. All right. So with African cichlids, yes, would I say they are specialists? Yes, I do agree with that term, to say specialists only when it comes to African cichlids, because their requirements are different, really different your standard from your standard tropical fish, in terms of pH, in terms of aggression, in terms of filtration. There is a lot that you need to really think of when it comes to African cichlids. And that it's taken me years for me to because I apart from watching YouTube videos, and just probably popping into a shop and just saying, no, asking questions, pets at home, just asking questions about cichlids. But they don't have, I've noticed the big brand shops here, they really stock African cichlids. So that's a bit, yeah. It's only the hobbies that actually breed and they sell. So I found within me trying to find cichlids, African cichlids to buy and getting to meet some of these breeders. This is something that I want to showcase when end of this month anyway. So yep. With African cichlids now, they are specialists in it to a degree. But what I've also learned is, as much as we do say they're specialists, I've seen some crazy things out there. My tank is, I'd say, living proof it of saying it can be done, right? Reason I'm saying my tank is because some people will say, if you're gonna keep mbunas by yourself, if by themselves. If you're gonna keep hops by themselves. If you're gonna keep peacocks, just have peacocks in there. Um, and yeah, I've seen it be done. I've seen it been done. I've seen people mix Lake Malawi with Lake Victoria as well. What I mean, or either Lake Victoria or Lake Tanganyika, which I did try myself. I did try to have Lake Tanganyika and the Tropheus into in my tank, but I did my for about good 3 4 months. They survived. Most difficult part now with that is it was feeding, because they all need different they all need different um types of foods, but they can do cohabit together. They can actually do that. And in terms of getting them in the UK, the sizes, like Mr. Dan was just saying a little bit a little few minutes ago, It is, yes, it is quite hard. You find it quite hard to find large African cichlids, and if when you do actually find them, they are expensive. I mean, I walked into this was 2 days ago. I walked into Maiden Aquatics, and they had some nice imbunas and peacocks in there. You're talking about, I would say, 8 9 inches. They were asking for literally 60 quid and above, nothing less, nothing less. So to the average hobbyist that really wants to just walk in, unless they're really hardcore, very few people out there will probably think, okay, I'm gonna spend 60 quid on a 60 pounds, really, to the guys over the pond, 60 pounds for just one fish. You see, so as they get larger, they're more expensive, and they're cheaper, and people tend to buy them when they're smaller. So when they're smaller, they're dead cheap. Even before they've been sexed, they are dead cheap. £5 you can pick up quite a watch of this, it's a lot, really, to be fair. It's only when they're larger, because now you'll be able to differentiate between males and females, and most people want males because they color up as well. So that's another thing as well. um so apart from that, uh there are places you can get large. I don't want to lie, there are places you can get large, as you're saying, Dan, in the messaging, as I can see. You get yours from Sims or Aquatics. um I have to buy 5 inch plus to go with mine. Yes, that's another thing as well. Dan, I did. This is me just telling you right now. I did 2 days ago, as I was saying, I was in Made in Aquatics. I bought some is it Domicini? Yes, I bought three of them. Three. They were about 4 inches. You know what I mean? 3 to 4 inches, and I put them in my tank. I bought them and a hub, eye biter and an eye biter, which is quite small. But when I introduced the fish into the tank, this I think I introduced them at about, it was about 1 a.m. So it was dark. I didn't even switch on the lights. But bearing in mind, the fish I've got in my tank are massive anyway. You see, but I was thinking normally they wouldn't chase around anything smaller than them because they tend clear, you know. But I put the fish in at 1 a.m. I went to sleep. I left the tank was dark. In the morning now, I didn't even switch on the light. I just went to try and have a look. So when I was having a look now, I couldn't find. Even up until today, I didn't watch this a water change. The three domesticni, they're nowhere to be seen. No way. No way. I can't see them. So that on its own was a wasted investment of money. It wasn't a lot because I think for the three was like I paid 23. I paid £23 for them, and for them within a space of less than 10 hours for me to just lose three fish just like that. But it's not even like I even saw the bodies. The rest of the guys must have ate them or whatever. So cichlids, it's a strange one. What works today doesn't necessarily mean that. It can work, tomorrow as well. So we've spoke about finding them when they're large. It's hard. Feeding them, as you're saying, Dan, as well. Thank you, Dan, you're contributing quite a lot. Thank you. Feeding them, fish food has gone expensive. Generally the aquarium hobby is become a bit expensive, to be fair. But just buying food, just stocking up the food, the fish food has become, and you just don't want to feed any, you want to feed quality food. Everyone that you watch who's got aquariums will tell you to say feed your fish, you need to feed your fish um some quality food. But this quality food comes at a price, it comes at a price, at a price. And given that it could be pricey, but you could actually feed the fish and they don't want to eat the food as well. That's another thing as well. Cichlids are crazy. You could buy the most expensive foods, but if they don't like it, they won't eat it. So that's a whole tab or packet of food that you've just lost right there. Yeah. So fish food is expensive as well. and as well, just generally the hobby with the prices of energy. You know what I mean? Right now, bills are really high. Bills. I was looking at my bill the other day. Is really, really high. And when you go on Facebook Market, you can actually see a lot of people are closing down their tanks right now. A lot of people are shutting down their tanks right now, and that's both the saltwater guys as well as the tropical guys. You can find tanks really cheap right now, and equipment really, really cheap at the present moment. So that's sometimes when I really need a piece of equipment, I would just first my first shot would be just to go and try and see if I can find it on Facebook Market. You know what I mean? It's quite cheaper that way because for example, thinking of buying an FX6 filter brand new right now, it's really, really dear. It's really, really pricey just to go out and buy an FX6 filter, because I think mine I brought it brand new, which was like 3 years ago, and that was like 350. I'll put it just give or take £20. All right, that's what it was. So you can imagine right now, they're definitely above 300. So for someone to even think they're gonna go out there and buy, you have to make the hard choice to say, yeah, I'm paying 300 quid, £300 for this. So most people right now closing their tanks off. You go on Facebook Market, you'll find it for £150. The FX6. Yes, it's used, but if you maintain your equipment properly. Now, the other thing as well, talking to you, Danny, as well, is the size of the tanks. The size of the tanks for cichlids. Yeah, the size of the tanks. Yeah, yeah. When people really get African cichlids, they get African cichlids and they think, okay, y- y- they can stick them in a small aquarium. They don't realize how big they get. Yeah. So when they get them and they start feeding them, they're looking after them. It's because of the color, really. Especially happens with mbunas, to be fair. Majority with mbunas, because they're told, okay, they'll relatively stay small. They relatively stay small, but eventually they would outgrow their tank. So outgrowing their tank now means you need a minimum of at least 5 foot, as you said, Dan. Yes, 5 foot. That's just a minimum in my own eyes. For me, I justified myself by saying, okay, 3 foot. The 3 foot is minimum. But after having had my cichlids in a 3 foot tank and overstocked 3 foot tank, and I still had a sump and FX6 running at the same time, I can safely tell you to say there is no way you can keep African cichlids in a 3 foot tank. 4 foot is borderline. I can even say 4 foot really is borderline, w- especially if you're just looking to do mbunas, you'll be okay. When you now start looking at the larger sizes of hubs, it just means you can keep them, but your stocking level just needs to be lowered down. Yeah. So 5 foot, 6 foot, I've found that they're great sizes. But the catch now is this: if you're going to go out there and get yourself a 5 foot tank, if you're going to go and get yourself a 5 foot tank and even a 6 foot tank here in the UK, you get yourself a 6 foot tank, but you can't buy yourself large fish. What you're going to end up doing now is you're going to buy a lot of small fish, a lot of small fish, right? And you're just going to overstock the tank. Now, you need a really, really strong filter. I run a sump as well as an FX6. So in all honesty, I love both. I love both. Sump FX6, I can do with both. I can switch my sump off and just run off my FX6. And I could switch my FX6 and just run off my sump. So I'm not gonna be the type of guy to tell you, oh, sumps, yeah, I'm a sump guy. Now I'm okay. I love both. I can work with what I've got, really. So if you give me a filter, as long as if it's an FX, I'm happy with it. If you give me sumps, I'm happy with it. So I can never just say this is what I like. But having said that, sumps when it comes to sumps now, when it comes to sumps, I went a little bit overboard for mine. In their most basic nature, in the most basic way of setup, sumps, I find that sumps are amazing. Reason being, they've got that cool factor. If someone comes into your house and they see your display tank, and you open up the watch at the bottom, as soon as you open up the bottom and it's bang, they see a sump. It just looks like you're running. You're on some next level. Do you see what I mean? So sumps have got that cool factor. They really have got that cool factor. But the disadvantages to them is, one, they could be noisy, and in my own respect, in talking about me, it's quite pricey running a sump, because I ended up putting reactors and stuff like that in there. Whereas if I just had the FX6 filters, even two, and just ran them off, I wouldn't have been tempted to put reactors, clarity filter rolls, and everything else. I would have My energy bills would be lower. But sums are amazing. Sums are amazing. Believe me, I love that. FX6 is, well, the the I think I'm more biased when it comes to canister filters, because to me, I love the FX range. I am really biased when it comes to filters, because the FX range is just, I think, is, especially the FX6, is the big daddy of all of the filter world. I'm still yet to try the OAS. I think there's an OAS, a larger size one. I'm still yet to. I've seen it. The final tank boss is called one. And I saw it running. It was silent. It comes with an inbuilt heater, so that's even awesome. With the FX6, it's gone for a very long time without being updated, though. I think, well, if something is doing good, there's no need for you to be, of course, change it. But with OAS, they've kind of moved forward, and they've now put UV clarifiers. You can't even say UV sterilizers. It's UV clarifiers now into their filters, and the FX6 it's just been the power horse. So unless they come up with anything else above the FX6 filter, I'm always going to be a fan of Fluval. I'm always I'm always gonna stand up and be a fan of Fluval, because the FX range is amazing. Uh, just bear with me. Yes, Dad, you've just put a single outlet on your FX6, and it's really improved the circulation. What I did though? You know what I did? Um, what I did with my FX6, Dan. What I did is, I've got this spray bar. All right. So the spray bar, I've got it on one side of my of the tank. So the beauty of it now is, it evenly just sprays the water and agitates the water throughout. Then I've got wave makers. I used to have the two outlets from the FX6, one blowing that direction, one blowing the other direction, or one up, one down. But I thought, let me get the spray bar, because I was running four wave makers. So, like I said before, with the prices of these energy bills, I had to start cutting down on some of the equipment. So, a spray bar, by just having one spray bar, I just literally took out two wave makers. You see, so yeah, yeah, it improved the flow. You are right. It improved the flow, the circulation, but you gotta have a wave maker on the other side, because it will push the top level agitation. Then if you have one at the bottom, then you probably just have a complete cycle that will be going on, provided that you've got, well, what kind of scape you've got, really, to be fair, providing you've got the what kind of scape and what species you keep, to be fair, because if it's mbunas, um you need a lot of rock work. So yeah, if it's peacocks or harps, you can get away with just having a tank that's just open space, because they love the swimming space. It's the mbunas really that like to go in and out of the rock work. So yeah, you are right there. You are right there. All right, let's see what you're saying in the messages, guys. I had a problem with detritus on the substrate, so the extra circulation with the wave maker as well really keeps it clean. Oh yeah, the combination of the airflow, watching this, the filter flow as well as wave makers, amazing. It keeps the circulation going. But mind you, if I'm honest, African cichlids, Dan, African cichlids, they are diggers. African cichlids will literally just dig up the place. So they're constantly moving the sand, which means now they will actually helping in keeping all the poop up kind of submerged for the futures to take. So you do get some dead, excuse me, you do get some dead spots. I do agree with you. In my tank, I have a bit of a, I have some dead spots in there where I actually have to go and use a gravel cleaner to get the poop out. But it is what it is. This is why they say African cichlids. There is no such thing as overfiltering. When you have African cichlids, you cannot overfilter. You cannot overfilter. Oh yes, I got someone in there. Tapinda, Tapinda. I wonder who that is. It says Jerry. Jerry M. Yes. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Oh sister. Hey, I'm being inclusive. I'm not too sure who that is, but yeah, you are right there. Under rocks and dead spots for me. Yeah, you're always gonna have dead spots. Dan, you will always have dead spots within aquariums. It's. I'm still yet to find someone who will say that they don't have dead spots, unless they've used beer or loads of wave makers possibly, but dead sports will happen, will happen. All right, let's move on now. So another big thing with African cichlids now is maintenance. Of course, we've started talking about filters and stuff like that. Just the water changes, just the water changes. Um, I have noticed, which took me some time for me to realize. Of course, with larger volume, when I had the 3 foot tank, I used to do water changes and on a regular. I was trying to grow out my fish anyway, but I was really looking to to grow out my fish. So with the 3 foot, I would do mostly 2 water changes per week. Then I moved to one, but it was two. With a 6 foot tank now, it's hard work. It's hard work. It's hard work. Because the larger the tank, emptying the water out, it actually seems quicker to empty the water out than it is to fill the tank. Dan, can you can you can you help me out on this? With your tank here, does it feel like when you drain it, it's quicker? Then when you fill it up, it takes forever. It takes forever. So, but in terms of maintenance with African cichlids, yeah, African cichlids, they require a lot of maintenance because they really have to have clear water. You see, so in terms if they need clear water, that means I'm not clear about good quality water. All right. So yes, I can see some questions in there. Yes, the one called Don. Yes, Don Chi. I think that's Don Chimsy. Could you give me advice? I've only got two goldfish, and the tank's getting dirty quickly. Does live flowers make a difference? I think you meant live plants make a difference, and it's about the filter system. Okay, so with goldfish, if I'm honest with you, it's if it's getting dirty, it just means that you're really slacking on sorry to say this, slacking on your water changes. Because if you're to do your water changes, mind you, you need to tell me what size your tank is, so at least I can have a brighter idea. But if this is Don Chimsey that I think it is, it, if you get on top of your water changes, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You won't get dirty. When you do the water change, just clean the glass, then do your gravel clean maybe once a month. So don't clean the gravel, don't shift around the gravel every day or every week that you clean the tank. No, just do it once a month, possibly, just to get the poop out. But irregardless of that, your water changes. If you do your water changes religiously, set yourself a rota to say of maintenance. If you're gonna say you're gonna do maintenance on your tank for a week, every week, then stick to every week. If your tank can go for 2 weeks, you know, then every 2 weeks, no more than 2 weeks, make sure you do the water change. So maintenance in terms of aquariums, I'm not just talking about cichlids, I'm talking about aquariums. What I've found is since I've started servicing a lot of people's tanks, so regardless of my tanks here and my display tank down there, um, if I'm honest with you, a lot of people love the idea of having a fish tank, the idea of just having to look at a clean fish tank. But when it then comes to to then having to ensure that the maintenance is done on them, it's in this busy lifestyle we live, it's quite challenging. It is quite challenging. So as much as I also encourage people to get the largest tank that they can, which is what most people would say, I would also say the largest tank, the follow through of that would be the largest tank that you can manage. That's what I'd say. Because there's no point, I could afford a 6 foot tank. Can I maintain a 6 foot tank? That would be my first question. Do you get what I mean? If if I need to downsize, then I'm gonna have to downsize. Then when I have to downsize, that brings a whole lot of questions for me because what can I start stocking up the tank with? So that then takes a certain group of fish out that I cannot keep. But I know this is what I can manage. If I'm to, unless I'm willing to pay for someone to come and do a water change every day. Yeah. Yeah. You are right there, Dan. I'm just reading through it, Dan. Definitely. I use the pump. I use the pump. So I get a pump, and with the pump, what I tend to do, of course, the pump, it drains straight into my garden. That's if my sister's not around, because my sister is a she's a plant person, and what I find is, with aquarium water, take my whenever I do like a filter clean, a proper deep filter clean, I collect that water. Then I either use it on the plants in the house or give it out to my sister. Yeah, and it works wonders for a fish as well. So I mean for plants. So it's a win-win situation. But yeah, just having a pump, most people gone are the days what gone are the days when people used to use buckets to be able to do water changes. Now it's as simple, it's cheap to get, it's really cheap to get a um just a pump. You get a pump and a hose, a long enough hose. It's simple, it's just draining straight to the drain, right? Then it's the same thing. Swap the pump back out again and put it in a sink, either the sink, or if you can buy one of them, you can get a 10 pound bucket, which is 20 liters or something. Fill it out with water, then just put the pump in there, and then it pumps back straight into the tank. But I take it up a notch. I i pump straight into the garden. But when I pump straight out in the garden, putting water back in, I use a Hyger gravel cleaner. So what it does now is, though my tap is not strong enough in terms of suction for me to drain from from the tank to the sink. So what I tend to do is I use the faucet by plugging in the faucet into the tap, making sure the temperature of my water is fine. Then just open the tap into the what? Into the tank. So that flow is easier for me to manage, to be honest with you. Otherwise, with the 6 foot tank, God, it would take me half a day just to fill it up with with 5 liter buckets. Yeah, I got just bear with me. The water is amazing for the plants. Oh yes. I was speaking about my sister right there. She's right there in the what should this in the messaging. She just said the water is amazing for plants though. Yes, the water is, e- believe me, when I do a water change every 2 weeks. If I'm to show you my garden right now, if I'm to show you the lawn of my garden, it's constantly green. It doesn't matter if it's heat wave or it's constantly green, because I repurpose that water. It just doesn't go down the drain. It literally goes straight into the garden. The missus has been doing a bit of planting in the garden, so that works out well. So with a 6 foot tank, believe me, that's a whole lot of water to go around for everyone. But the nutrients, the reason it's like, I think more with most people, it we might say, oh, the water is really good, but and I feel like I need to go a bit more into detail so they know why it's good, you know. Because uh, the nutrients in terms of the fish's waste, when they break down, even if they don't break down, some of the water, when you, especially when you do a filter clean, is like brown. So that acts like fertilizer. That acts like fertilizer when you put it, when you give it to the plants. That's why the water is so good. Yeah. All right. Let's see what Dan's saying as well. Hello, LOL. Definitely, I use a pump to drain and a Python. Um, because it will take forever. Oh yes, yes, definitely. Like I was saying, Dan. Now with your tank, Dan. To be fair, with your tank, when I've had a look of number one, to be honest with you, kudos on your tank. I've seen your tank on TikTok, and I love the sign DP Cichlids. That is lovely. I think I'm gonna get one that says Cichlid Whisperer neon sign out there. That will just stick out. So I love a sign up there. But with your tank, I think you've got loads of species in there. You've got uh I think you've got trophies, you've got booners, you've got peacocks, you got, I don't know if you got harps though. Then there's these, I forgot, the name has come out of my head. The names come out of my head as well. They're blue, and is it blue and black and with a funny face? Lake Tanganyika, I think they're from. Lake Tanganyika. It's not trophies. But yeah, Dan, you know them. You've got those, and they grow quite large as well. They grow quite large. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think it was the other Dan. Yeah, must be the other Dan. They grow quite large. So yeah, I'll carry on. I'll carry on with um with the chat. So we spoke about challenges with cichlids challenge, the challenges of, and we started off with filtration. I think we spoke about filtration. We just spoke about tank size. We spoke about maintenance and having to find them when they're smaller, because they're more expensive when they're what, when they're larger. All right, that's cichlids for you as a standard. Another thing is, you cannot keep plants with cichlids, African cichlids to be more precise. There are some exceptions, but the exceptions are exceptions. They might not eat them now. Eventually, they'll start nipping on them, and eventually, they'll be floaters, and eventually, that's it. They're gone. So, when it comes to African cichlids, plants, yeah, plants are what you call this. Plants are really good for aquarium, but with African cichlids, excuse me, with African cichlids, um, unfortunately, as beautiful as they are, the only thing that misses in the tank is plants. Yeah, you can keep Anubias in there. So I think it's more on the case that, yeah, Anubias. Yeah, I was told a lot about the Anubias. So when I got Anubias into my tank, they nibbled on it. They had it. They had it. Another thing, to be honest, if you was that I tried, was to try and raise fry with plants in there. So I thought if I was to raise them from young and they've got plants in the tank, as they grow up, they'll get used to the plants. That was something I was working out in my head. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I. As soon as they go big enough, adulthood, they just munch them. It's like something switched. Something switched. So with Anubias, a lot of people do say Anubias, but what the best success that I've had with plants and African cichlids, like you're saying, Dan, because I can also read your messages, is having pothos, which is above the water. That's the best success I can have, to be fair with you. Anything else, I've Hornworth. A lot of people have said Hornworth, which I've also tried actually. I've tried not inside the tank. I did try in the tank, but because of the flow, Hornwolf doesn't really like large flow. So I decided to then take it out and put it in the sump because I was thinking if hornworth, anyone that knows hornworth, the plant actually takes a lot of nutrients. It's really good for that. It's known for that. If you want nutrients taken out of the water column quick, what do you use? Hornworth. Everyone will tell you that. Perfect. I put it in my sump. And I don't know whether inside the sump I didn't have a longer period with the lighting, but it just didn't catch on. The plant just died. The plant just died. So with portals, right now I've just added some portals. I had a friend of mine who owns a fish shop, aquarium factory. If you guys, anyone that's in West Midlands or Birmingham, yeah, especially West Bromwich, you need to go to Aquarium Factory and see Michael. Michael is an amazing dude, man. He's an amazing dude. So yeah, I went up to his shop and he just chopped off a few lengths of pothos, and I've got that in my tank right now. They haven't really started to grow because I only did that like a week ago. But that's as much plants as I'm gonna get in there. But I'm not a big fan of having fake plants though. I did have fake plants. I did have fake plants, but I'm not. I think once you start dealing with what's called this real plants, the fake plants, the look, yeah, you grow out of it. Everyone who started aquariums at some point had fake plants. It's a bit of a rant from me, really. Everyone who started off an aquarium started off at some point with fake plants. I doubt that few people just went straight into planting. To be fair, you might have just got a few fake plants here and there, but you soon grew out of it, which makes it easier for, let's say, if you've got any children, for them to complete maintenance. You see, so yeah, as you're saying, Dan, yeah, it grows pretty quickly. Porthos, yeah. I'm still yet to experience it. I've had loads. I've had a lot of people that have told me it grows loads, and I've seen it for myself in other people's tanks. I just don't have the success. I don't know why. I just don't. And I've got some Inubius in that tank. Yeah. I think you can see the Nubius. That's my experiment that I'm working on right there. I'm creating a bonsai. I'm bonsai tree in there that I'm trimming down with some Anubias, beta fish. There's loads of shrimp in that one. So yeah, yeah. It grows quite quick, the pothos. But to be honest with you, I'm still yet to see. I don't know if it's just me that doesn't have a green thumb, as my wife says, a green thumb, because I used to kill plants. I'm surprised at myself, the success that I've had within these two little ones here. I'm so chuffed because I was so afraid of starting up tanks, to be fair. I was really, I mean, planted tanks because I used to kill plants. So, yeah, that's on the topic of plants. African cichlids and plants is a big no no. Real plants. You can have fake plants, but real plants. But even the fake plants, they need to really be kind of rooted down properly because they'll be dug up. These guys are jerks. I always say African cichlids are jerks. They'll always move around sand. I'm in the process of doing a video at the moment actually because 1 minute I've just done a water change today and I popped out to go to an event just before I came on this live. I come back on the live, yeah, and they've moved around things in the tank. They've shifted the sand to one side of the tank, and I'm thinking to myself, all that effort. Yes, you got better quality water right now. I'm talking to the fish, of course, but they've redecorated the tank. So that's another thing. All right. Then we spoke about plants. And I did mention earlier to say most people really wanna when they look at, unless you're a breeder, unless you're looking to breed African cichlids, most people don't really want to have females. No one wants to have females because they are dialed down in color. They are less desirable. That's what I should put it. Because males will color up. So on that respect, most people will have a male only tank. Unless they're looking to breed, then they can have some females. But it's hard to have a male only tank if you buy them small when they haven't been sexed, because you're gonna end up with females anyway. So it's a catch. If you want a guaranteed male, they cost more money because they colored up. If you want to wing it and just buy a bag of 10 African cichlids, juveniles, I don't know the ratios, but you're definitely going to end up with a female in there. And having a female in your tank, as an example, if you've got three females in your tank and seven boys, it's just going to mean that it's going to be hell in that tank. It's going to be a nightmare in the tank, because not only are they fighting maybe for territories, now there's females in the tank, not enough females to add to that. Yeah, there'll be lots of scrapes in the tank. Yeah, there'll be deaths in the tank. There'll be deaths in the tank. So yeah, that's one more thing as well. As I'm just moving on and picking on things, why African cichlids are seen as more of a specialist kind of um species. So it can be just someone coming in and saying, okay, I want cichlids. They've never kept any aquariums before. They've never, if you've kept aquariums in terms of any other planted tanks, gouramis or tetras, you've got a chance, because you've got a better understanding of what water quality is. You've got a better understanding of what type of maintenance is going to be needed in order for your tanks. You get it? So when it comes to African cichlids, it's not one of them where you can just walk in and you've got no aquarium experience whatsoever and just decide to jump in with African cichlids. As soon as you do that, you won't last a month. You won't last a month. Yep. You would have taken them back. Oh, they'll all be dead. You might not even end up having, because you see, even though most of them are are bred within 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 the hobby, they're not wild caught. So if you look at their pH, it's normal water, so it's different to wild caught, right? But there is so much that you need to consider when you keep African cichlids in terms of their habitat, their ratios. It's not a case of just picking up 20 fish and just putting in. Have you got the right ratios? The bottom dwellers, the middle dwellers, the top guys. If you have correct numbers in between, so none of them don't dominate at one point. Because once you start having a certain, if the guys at the bottom, the mbunas, are start dominating and they're knocking everyone else out, that's it. All right. So you ever kept? Yes, I've got mbunas. Yes, I've got mbunas in mine. I've got yellow labs. I've got nyasi. I've got bumblebee. Bumblebees are quite interesting, to be honest, if you're an aggressive. And the most aggressive African cichlid I've kept in terms of species has been mbunas. I found the hubs and the peacocks, I found them to be more laid back. The mbunas, they're bullies. They're literally bullies. They will endlessly chase another fish until it cannot swim anymore. Yellow lab is amazing. Yes, the yellow labs, they're like a staple. They're so common. That's the thing. They're so common. And everyone loves the yellow labs. Now, if you're to put, let's say for example, if you decide to have a Mbuna tank only, if you're to put the yellow labs and the domesini together, so you've got the contrast of the yellow and the blue. Ooh, yeah. If my wife ever allows me to have another tank, another big tank, well, not 6 foot, but even what should this a 4 foot, I'm gonna do a species only, which is just mbunas. They're just gonna be domesticite and yellow labs in there, and with loads of rocks. I think that is just gonna look amazing if you have ocean rock as well. So yeah, yeah, yellow labs are really good. Everyone loves them because the yellow is so bright. It's h- it's hard to find the bright yellow in any other fish unless you've gone saltwater. So unless you go saltwater, African cichlids, yellow labs, I'm trying to think, is there any other fish that can rival the yellow lab in terms of yellow color? I really cannot. I really cannot. Yeah, yellow labs are top of the list, but you get some interesting booners like the bumblebee. You get the bumblebee and you get the nyasi. Interesting fact about the nyasi. I'm gonna start doing some species profiles in my next videos, where I'm gonna be doing species profiles on a specific species. Like I found out with the nyasi. The nyasi is yellow. It's a yellow zebra, right? Then what it does now, even the bumblebee, especially the bumblebee is yellow and black with stripes of black, like a bumblebee. But what it does is, if it's in a normal environment and it's in its hunting mood, it's yellow and black. But what it does is, where in its natural habitat, it cohabitates with catfish. So what it does is, it will go into caves where catfish lay their eggs. Then it will change its colors to blue and is a blue and black. So it goes into a nursing. So the catfish now into a nursing outfit. The catfish now, they now think these fish have come to take care of the eggs. Then the bumblebee will eat the eggs. As soon as it eats them and it goes out, it changes color back to yellow and black. I experienced that in my tank. I haven't got catfish that have got eggs, but you can tell when my bumblebee is is fired up and is up for having a fight with anyone. He'll be yellow and black. He will be literally yellow and black when he's literally when he's fired up. But when the tank boss, which is one of my ruby reds, is chasing everyone around, believe me, 1 minute they can just swap, then they just the blue and black. So that's an interesting fact about mbunas. So in terms of mbunas, yeah, you someone did mention to say the yellow lab's amazing, but you've also got amazing cichlids there. Right now we're only talking about African cichlids. There's American cichlids, South American cichlids, so cichlids is just like how can I put it, a genome, really, where yeah, yeah, even angelfish. I was surprised angelfish are cichlids, really. They're considered to be cichlids. Excuse me, so I can have a drink. Yeah, so there's so much to look into right now in terms of cichlids, because by the time I'm done with African cichlids, we're gonna have to talk about the South American cichlids. We're gonna have to talk about, you've the Oscars. I've always wanted to have an Oscar. I've always thought Oscars are amazing. I've always wanted to have Oscars, but they grow large. They're like little. I think are like the little puppy dogs of the fish world. Really, if you see how they are quite interactive, they sulk. If you change anything in the tank, they'll go in the corner and they'll sulk like a little puppy, and they don't want to. So yeah, that's a fish I would like to keep. I'm pretty much limited to what I keep because of the size of the houses. Here in the UK, the houses are a little bit more smaller as compared to over the pond in America. They get more larger spaces, and yeah, they can have so many tanks. The amount of Americans that I've seen, um, American hobbyists that I've seen with massive tanks, and even in the basement, they've got basements. Imagine, I've only ever seen probably one house properly that's got a decent basement here, and that's the final tank bosses. All right, so like I don't know why I was talking, but I also need to let everyone know I have to apologize. The final tank boss wasn't feeling well. He unfortunately wasn't able to join on this one. So instead of me just canceling the live, I decided to just come and just have a bit of a rumble, a bit of a talk with everyone. You see, then we'll take it from there. In 2 weeks' time, hopefully he would have recovered properly. Then I'll have him on, or he'll have me on his channel. It's not really set to who's gonna be hosting or who's gonna be hosting who. It's a matter of we're working together. We're trying to bring the fish community together and just work off each other. So I wish him a speedy recovery. If I'm honest with you, he'll be joining us in 2 weeks once he's fully recovered. I also like to thank everyone that's joined in today. I've had Mr. Dan. You've been awesome. You've been amazing. You've really been amazing. You've been asking questions. I've had people that have joined in. Some have sent messages. If people haven't noticed as well, I just haven't been live on YouTube at the present moment. I've just been live elsewhere too. So there's some people out there that are literally that are watching me not just from YouTube, but I'm streaming elsewhere as well. So thank you very much for everyone that's watched and everyone that's joined me today. It's been an honor to have you. Any questions? Any questions, please fire them on. I'll give you a little bit of a moment. But at the same time, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. The channel is lacking a little bit of content because I've been more on TikTok as I haven't been on YouTube. So please subscribe on YouTube. There's more content that'll be coming in. Yeah, there was more content that'll be coming in. And like I said, at the end, at the end of this live, which is like now, I've got something that I need to tell everyone. It's good news. It's really, really good news. Um, at the end of this month, I'm saying at the end of this month because hopefully a few episodes would have gone in. But at the end of this month, I'm looking to fully launch the Cichlid Whisperer podcast. So we're going to be doing podcasts. So when that comes out, I will let everyone know. But I'm going to be fully doing podcasts. The title of the pod, yes, I'm the Cichlid Whisperer, but I'm going to be running it on as the Cichlid Whisperer Academy. My reasoning towards it, if I'm honest, is since I've started going on TikTok, I've had the younger generation ask me about how to set up fish tanks and how aquariums, whether it's goldfish. They don't even ask much about cichlids because they think they're too big, guppies or whatever. But I'm using the podcast just to teach the younger generation. I will have two co-hosts that will take turns on the podcast, which I will be revealing to you on the very first podcast, which is going to be released next week. So this is going to be available on it will the video is going to be available on YouTube. It's also the videos and the audio will be available on Spotify. It's also going to be available on Apple and on Amazon. So, yep, I hope you guys will enjoy the new content that will be coming along. Also, of course, I still do reviews and stuff like that on the podcast, but this will be a different kind of connection. I like the lives because I can interact with everyone. I can see messages that are coming through right now. People that are sending me messages, asking me questions. That's all good. That's lovely, and I love it. But in terms of podcasts, I want them to be more educational. So I'll be looking towards that direction. Today we've covered quite a lot. We've covered a broad, a broad range of things that will make you consider whether you want to have African cichlids or not. And in terms of African cichlids, I can tell you they're the most colorful fish, most colorful tropical fish, right? Most colorful tropical fish. Then there's saltwater and marine. So they're the next thing to marine or saltwater fish. That's what I believe anyway. Some people think otherwise, but most people pretty much agree on this. So if you want to keep African cichlids, please do. Um, and thank you very much, everyone, for joining in today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will let everyone know when the final tank boss will be joining us, but hopefully give us the next 2 weeks. My podcast is coming out next week. The following week after that, I'm coming on the live. So that will give everyone a chance to probably give me feedback on the podcast, on my first episodes, to say what went well. Did I cover everything that I could? So thank you, everyone. The live is done. I appreciate your support, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you.